I drove 3 hours to my parents' house that Thanksgiving, carrying a bottle of expensive wine my dad loved, and a pecan pie I made from scratch using my grandmother's recipe. I had not seen my whole family together in over a year, and my heart felt full thinking about sitting around that old dining table again. When I pulled into the driveway and saw everyone's cars already there, I smiled. Then my dad opened the front door, blocked my path with his arm, and said the words that shattered everything. "We don't want to see your face. Leave." I stood there frozen, holding that pie and wine, feeling like someone had just punched me in the stomach. My phone rang at 11:15 that night. Before we get into what happened that night, let me know in the comments where you are watching this from. If this story resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe, because what my family asked me to do after humiliating me like that will leave you speechless. Trust me, you need to hear how this ends. Now let me take you back to the beginning and show you exactly how family betrayal can cut deeper than any knife. I need to tell you about my family first, so you understand why that Thanksgiving destroyed me. I am the youngest of 3 kids. My older brother Dylan is 38, and he took over our dad's small auto repair shop right after high school. My sister Marissa is 35, married with 2 kids, living just 5 miles from my parents. Then there is me, Jesus, 32 years old, the one who went a different direction. I got my engineering degree, moved to the city, and landed a job at a tech company. My dad always wanted me to come back and work at the shop with Dylan. Every holiday, every phone call, he would bring it up. "You should come home. The family business needs you. Work with your brother." But I loved what I did. I loved solving problems, creating solutions, building things that mattered. The shop was Dylan's passion, not mine, and I thought my dad understood that. Sure, there was tension sometimes when we talked about my career, but nothing major. I still called home twice a week. I sent money on birthdays and Christmas. I thought we were good. Maybe I was naive, but family was family, right? That's what I believed until that Thursday in November. I had requested time off from work a week early so I could prepare for Thanksgiving. I went to 3 different stores to find that specific wine, a bottle that cost $150 because it was my dad's absolute favorite. I spent Wednesday evening making that pecan pie, following every step of my grandmother's handwritten recipe that my mom had mailed to me years ago. My dad used to brag about that pie to his friends. "My mom makes the best pecan pie in the county," he would say, not knowing it was actually my grandmother's recipe. I wanted to make him proud. I wanted to show him I still cared about family traditions, even though I lived far away. That Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, I called my mom to confirm what time to arrive. She answered on the 4th ring, and her voice sounded strange, a little distant, maybe worried. I asked if everything was okay. She said yes, just busy preparing for tomorrow. I told her I was bringing pie and wine. She paused, then said that would be lovely, but her tone felt off. I should have pushed harder, asked more questions. Instead, I told her I loved her and hung up, excited about the next day. Thursday morning arrived cold and crisp. I woke up at 6 in the morning, showered, dressed in the nice sweater my mom had given me last Christmas, and loaded everything into my car. The drive was 3 hours straight, and I spent most of it thinking about good memories. Thanksgiving when I was 10, and Dylan taught me how to throw a football in the backyard. The year Marissa and I stayed up late making cookies for everyone. Dad carving the turkey with that old electric knife that barely worked, but he refused to replace because his father had given it to him. These were the memories I held on to, the reasons I made that drive every year, no matter how busy work got. I pulled into the driveway at exactly 2 in the afternoon. Dylan's truck was already there, parked in his usual spot. Marissa's van sat next to it, meaning her husband and kids were inside too. I could hear voices through the walls, laughter, the faint sound of a football game on television. The smell of roasted turkey drifted through the cold air, mixing with something sweet. Probably my mom's famous stuffing with cranberries and walnuts. My stomach growled. I grabbed the pie from the passenger seat, carefully balanced the wine bottle in my other hand, and walked up those familiar wooden porch steps. I rang the doorbell even though I could have just walked in. That was the kind of family we were, or at least the kind I thought we were. Casual, warm, always open door. I heard footsteps inside, heavy ones. Dad's footsteps. The door swung open and I started to smile, ready to say Happy Thanksgiving, ready to hug him. But his face stopped me cold. No smile. No warmth. His jaw was set tight and his eyes looked at me like I was a stranger who had knocked on the wrong house. He did not move aside to let me in. Instead, he stood there blocking the entire doorway, with his body, one hand gripping the doorframe. I tried to lighten the mood. Hey, Dad, happy Thanksgiving? I brought your favorite wine and made grandmother's pecan pie. I held up both items like proof that I belonged there. He did not even glance at them. His voice came out flat and cold. We don't want to see your face. I actually laughed because I thought he was joking. Some weird dad humor I was not getting. What, Dad, come on, let me in. It is freezing out here. But he did not laugh back. He did not smile. He repeated the words slower this time, making sure I heard every single syllable. I said, leave. You are not welcome here. My hands started shaking. The pie felt suddenly heavy. I looked past him into the house and saw Dylan standing in the hallway, arms crossed, staring at me. Marissa stood near the kitchen entrance, looking down at the floor. In the corner, I caught a glimpse of my mom. She had her back turned, shoulders moving like she was crying, but she did not turn around to look at me. Nobody was moving. Nobody was saying anything except my dad, who just kept staring at me with this expression I had never seen before. Disgust mixed with disappointment, mixed with something else I couldn't name. What did I do? The words came out weak. Can someone please tell me what is going on? Dylan stepped forward. You know exactly what you did. Just go. He said it matter of fact, like I had committed some obvious crime that everyone knew about except me. I looked at Marissa, desperate for someone to break this nightmare. Marissa, please. She finally met my eyes for half a second, then looked away and walked back toward the kitchen. My dad shifted his weight, preparing to close the door. Before I could say anything else, he shut it, not slammed it. That might have felt more honest. No, he closed it slowly, deliberately, like shutting a door on a salesman he was done talking to. I stood on that porch, holding a pie and a bottle of expensive wine, staring at the closed door, trying to make sense of what just happened. A neighbor walking their dog across the street glanced over at me. I felt my face go hot with embarrassment. I walked back to my car like a robot, opened the door, sat in the driver's seat, and just sat there. My brain could not process it. What had I done? I went through every conversation from the past few months in my head. Had I said something offensive, forgotten someone's birthday, made a joke that landed wrong, nothing came to mind. Absolutely nothing. I tried calling my dad, straight to voicemail. I texted Dylan. Read, but no response. I texted Marissa. Same thing. Read. No response. It was like I had been erased from existence in the span of 30 seconds. I sat in that driveway for almost 10 minutes before I realized people inside could probably see me through the window. I started the car and drove away. 3 hours back home. 3 hours of my mind spinning in circles trying to figure out what I had done to deserve this. I barely remember the drive. It felt like I blinked, and suddenly I was pulling into my apartment parking lot as the sun started to set. I walked into my apartment at 6 in the evening, went straight to the kitchen, and threw that beautiful pecan pie into the trash. Then I opened the wine. The expensive wine I had bought for my dad. I poured myself a large glass and sat on my couch in the dark. My phone sat on the coffee table in front of me, silent. I kept waiting for it to ring, for someone to call and say it was all a misunderstanding, a terrible joke, something. But nothing came. I opened my laptop and started going through my emails, my text messages, my social media accounts. Maybe I had posted something that offended them. Maybe someone had misunderstood something I said online. I found nothing. My last text to the family group chat was 2 weeks ago, when I confirmed I was coming for Thanksgiving and asked if anyone needed me to bring anything besides dessert. Everyone had responded positively then. Dylan even sent a thumbs-up emoji. I thought about calling my friend Marcus. He still lived in my hometown, and we had stayed close since high school. If something was going around about me, Marcus would know. I dialed his number. He picked up on the second ring. "Jesus, hey man. Happy Thanksgiving." His voice was cheerful, which somehow made me feel worse. I cut straight to it. "Marcus, have you heard anything about my family? Any rumors or anything going on?" There was a pause. "What do you mean?" I told him what happened. He went quiet for so long I thought the call had dropped. Finally, he spoke. "Man, I am so sorry. I did not want to get involved, but yeah, I heard Dylan was struggling with the shop. Money problems, and Marissa's husband lost his job a couple months back. I heard she was pretty stressed about bills. That information hit me like a puzzle piece clicking into place. 2 months ago, Dylan had called me asking to borrow $15,000. He wanted to expand the shop, add another bay, buy some new equipment. I had asked him for a business plan, something in writing, that showed the expansion made financial sense. He got defensive, said I did not trust him, said I thought I was better than him, now that I had a fancy degree and a corporate job. I tried to explain that it was not about trust, it was about being smart with money. I was saving for a house. $15,000 was not pocket change for me. He hung up on me. We had not really talked since then beyond short text messages. Could this be about that? Had Dylan been so angry that he turned my whole family against me? But that still did not explain what story he could have told that would make my own father refuse to let me in the house. What lie could be that powerful? I sat with my wine, turning theories over in my mind, until my phone buzzed. I looked down. 11:15 at night. Marissa's name on the screen. My heart jumped. Finally, an explanation, an apology, something. I picked up the phone and answered. Before I could say hello, I heard her voice cracked with tears. "Jesus, you need to come back, now." Her words were rushed, panicked. I felt ice run through my veins. "Come back where? What are you talking about?" Marissa was sobbing so hard she could barely speak. "It is Mom." She collapsed. "We are at the hospital. She is asking for you." Everything else fell away. What happened? I was already standing up, looking for my keys. Marissa tried to explain between sobs. "After dinner. After you left." She just kept crying. Then she grabbed her chest and fell. Dad called 911. They took her in an ambulance. Jesus, it is her heart. She had a heart attack. St. Mary's Hospital. Please come. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. Is she okay? Is she awake? Marissa, tell me she is okay. I don't know. They won't tell us much yet. She is in the emergency room. But she kept saying your name. She wants to see you. Dylan's voice suddenly came through the phone. He must have grabbed it from Marissa. If you ever cared about this family, get here. St. Mary's Hospital. His voice was hard, angry, but also scared. I could hear the fear underneath. What about Dad? I asked. What does he say? Silence. Then Dylan's voice quieter. He is here. Just come. The line went dead. I stood in my living room, keys in one hand, phone in the other, my entire body shaking. My mom was in the hospital. My mom, who had always been gentle, who always tried to keep peace, who made me cookies and mailed them to my apartment when she knew I was stressed about work. The same mom who had stood in that kitchen this afternoon and let my dad throw me out without saying a single word in my defense. I felt so many things at once. Terror that she might die. Rage that this whole disaster had somehow led to her collapsing. Confusion about what I was supposed to do now. If I got in my car and drove back, what did that mean? That they could treat me like garbage and then snap their fingers and I would come running whenever they needed me. But if I did not go and something happened to her, I would never forgive myself. I would carry that guilt for the rest of my life. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. Then I stopped. I pulled out my phone and called my dad directly. He answered on the first ring. His voice sounded broken, nothing like the cold tone from this afternoon. Jesus. Your mom. I know, I said. I heard. But before I drive 3 hours in the middle of the night, I need answers. What did I supposedly do? What was so terrible that you threw me out today? The silence stretched so long I thought he might hang up. Then I heard him take a shaky breath. Dylan said. He said you told people the business was failing, that you were bad-mouthing us around town. Cost us clients. People stopped coming because you said we were going under. The words hit me like a truck. What I never said that. I have never said anything bad about the shop to anyone. Who told you this, Dad? He did not answer the question. We will talk later. Just come. Your mom needs you. He hung up. I stood there staring at my phone, rage building in my chest. Dylan. Dylan had lied. Dylan had fabricated some story about me ruining the business, and my dad had believed him without even asking me, without giving me a chance to defend myself. And now my mom was in the hospital because of the stress of all this. I got in my car and drove. 3 hours in the middle of the night, my headlights cutting through darkness, my mind racing faster than my speedometer. Everything was clicking into place now. Dylan needed money. I said no. He got angry. But he did not just get angry at me. He decided to destroy my relationship with the whole family, so that maybe, just maybe, Dad would cut me out of his will and everything would go to Dylan and Marissa. It was calculated. It was cruel. And Marissa had gone along with it, probably because Dylan promised to help her with her own money problems if she stayed quiet. What I could not understand was how my parents fell for it. How could they believe I would sabotage the family business? How could they not even call me to ask if it was true? I reached the hospital at 2 a.m. The parking lot was nearly empty. I walked through the automatic doors into the bright, sterile emergency room waiting area. I saw them immediately. Dylan, Marissa, and my dad sitting in plastic chairs, all looking exhausted. Dylan stood up when he saw me. Finally, room 214. He pointed down a hallway. I did not move. Not yet. We need to talk first. My dad stood up too, looking confused. Your mother is in there. She is asking for you. I know, I said, keeping my voice steady. And I will see her. But I need answers now. Right now. I turned and looked directly at Dylan. You told Dad I badmouthed the business. That is a lie. Dylan's face changed. He tried to look confused, innocent. I heard it from multiple people around town. They said you were telling people we were going under. Name one person, I said. Name one person who told you they heard me say that. Dylan hesitated. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. It does not matter now. Mom needs us united. He tried to turn it around, make me look like the bad guy for bringing this up now. It matters to me, I said, my voice getting harder. You lied. You made up a story to turn Dad against me. Marissa stood up. Jesus not here. Not now. Mom is sick. I looked at her. You knew this was a lie, didn't you? But you said nothing. You just watched. A nurse walked past, glancing at us with concern. I lowered my voice, but kept my eyes on Dylan. I want the truth. Right now. My dad stepped closer to Dylan. Dylan, if you lied to me. He let the sentence hang there, and I saw something break in Dylan's expression. He looked down at the floor. Okay. Fine. I made it up. But you don't understand the pressure I am under. His voice cracked. The shop is barely surviving. I needed help. I asked you for money, and you treated me like I was incompetent. Like I couldn't run a business without your approval. So yes, I told Dad you were talking trash about us. I thought maybe if he was mad at you, he would focus on helping me instead. The waiting room went completely silent. My dad looked like someone had slapped him. You did this today. On Thanksgiving, Dylan tried to defend himself. I was desperate. The business that Grandpa built that you gave me to run it is dying. And Jesus just moved away and forgot about all of us. He is living his perfect life while we are drowning. I stepped closer to him. So you destroyed this family to save a business. You made Mom sick with this drama. Do you understand what you have done? Marissa was crying now. I knew she whispered. Dylan told me his plan. He said if Dad cut you out, there would be more money to help both of us. My husband lost his job. We are behind on our mortgage. I am sorry. I should have said something. Before anyone could respond, a doctor in blue scrubs walked into the waiting area. Family of Gloria. We all turned at once. She is stable. It was a minor heart attack, stress-induced. We are monitoring her overnight, but she should make a full recovery. She can have visitors now, but please keep it calm. No stress. She needs rest. Relief flooded through me so intensely my knees almost gave out. Can I see her? I asked. The doctor nodded. 2 visitors at a time. Keep it brief. I looked at my dad and Dylan. I am going first. Alone. Dylan started to protest. You cannot just... I cut him off. After what you did, you are lucky I am even here. My dad put his hand on Dylan's shoulder. Let him go. I walked down that hallway, following the room numbers until I found 214. I pushed open the door slowly. The room was dim, lit only by the glow of monitors. My mom lay in the hospital bed looking small and fragile in a way I had never seen her before. Her eyes were closed, but when she heard the door, they opened. When she saw me, tears immediately started running down her face. Jesus. Her voice was barely a whisper. I walked to her bedside and took her hand. It felt cold and weak. I am here, Mom. I am here. She squeezed my hand with what little strength she had. I am so sorry. I should have said something today. I should have stood up for you. But I was afraid. Afraid of conflict. Afraid of making your father more angry. I just wanted everyone to get along, so I said nothing. And look what happened. I pulled a chair close to her bed and sat down. Mom, just rest. We can talk about all this later. You need to focus on getting better. She shook her head slightly. No. I need to say this now. What Dylan did was wrong. What your father did was wrong. And what I did by staying silent was wrong too. You deserved better. You have always been such a good son. You call me every week. You remember birthdays. You send money when you know we are tight. And we repaid you by believing lies without even asking you. I felt my own eyes getting hot. We will figure this out, I said. But right now, you need to stay calm and rest. The doctor said you will be fine if you take it easy. She looked at me with such sadness. Are you going to leave us after this? I was quiet for a moment. Mom, I love you. But things cannot go back to how they were. I cannot be part of a family where people lie about me and nobody questions it. Where I get thrown out and then called back only because there is an emergency. That is not okay. She nodded slowly. I understand. What do you need from us? I thought about it. I need Dylan to admit what he did to everyone. Not just in a hospital waiting room at 2 a.m. A real apology. I need him to get help. Therapy or counseling or something, because what he did was not normal. I need Marissa to find her voice and stop going along with things she knows are wrong. And I need Dad to learn that trust means asking questions before passing judgment. My mom squeezed my hand again. That is fair. All of it. I will make sure they hear you. I leaned forward and kissed her forehead. Get some rest. I will check on you tomorrow. As I stood to leave, she said my name one more time. Jesus, I am proud of you. For everything you have become. For setting boundaries. For being stronger than I was. Don't lose that. I nodded, not trusting my voice, and walked out. In the hallway, my dad was standing alone. Dylan and Marissa had moved further down, giving us space. Dad looked at me with red eyes. I'm sorry. I should have called you. I should have asked if what Dylan said was true before I shut that door in your face. I have never been so ashamed of myself. I wanted to yell at him. I wanted to tell him how much it hurt to drive 3 hours with a pie I made specially for him, only to be treated like a criminal. But he looked so broken standing there, and I was too tired for more anger. I just need time, I said. I need time to figure out if I can trust you again. He nodded. Take all the time you need. I will be here whenever you are ready. I walked past him, past Dylan and Marissa, who both tried to speak to me, and went straight to my car. I sat in the parking lot for a while, just breathing. My phone buzzed. A text from Dylan. I am sorry. I know that does not fix anything, but I mean it. I put my phone away without responding. Over the next few weeks, my life found a new rhythm. I visited my mom twice a week, bringing her books and flowers. She came home after 3 days and slowly got stronger. But I timed my visits carefully to avoid family gatherings. I could not sit at a table with Dylan yet. I was not ready. He sent me several long text messages, apologizing, explaining his panic about the business, asking for forgiveness. I read them, but didn't respond. My dad called me every few days. We talked about safe topics, the weather, how Mom was feeling. He never pushed me to come around, and I appreciated that. Marissa sent me a handwritten letter, 5 pages of her admitting she had been a coward, that she let fear of her own problems cloud her judgment. I called her after reading it. We talked for an hour. It was a start. Christmas came faster than I expected. My mom called and asked if I would come for Christmas dinner. I hesitated. She quickly added, no pressure, no drama. If you come, you set the rules. I thought about it for a long time. Finally, I agreed with conditions. I would come for dinner but leave right after. If anyone brought up Thanksgiving, I would leave. If Dylan tried to force a big emotional reconciliation, I would leave. My mom agreed to everything. Christmas Day arrived and I drove to my parents' house again. This time my stomach was in knots, but when I walked in, the atmosphere was different. Quiet, careful. Everyone was trying so hard to be normal that it almost felt awkward. Dylan stayed on the opposite side of the room from me. He said hello and Merry Christmas, but did not push for more. Marissa was gentle, asking simple questions about work and my apartment. Dad helped Mom in the kitchen and made sure I had the best seat at the table, the one by the window that I always loved as a kid. We ate turkey and mashed potatoes and made small talk about weather and football. It was not the warm, loud, chaotic Christmas I remembered from childhood, but it was peaceful. When dinner ended, I stood to leave. My mom walked me to the door. "Thank you for coming," she said. I know it was hard. I hugged her. It was, but I am glad I did. She smiled and I saw hope in her eyes. "Maybe we can try again next month." I nodded. Maybe. As I drove home that night, I realized something had shifted inside me. I was not carrying the same anger I had felt a month ago. It was still there, tucked in a corner of my heart, but it was quieter now. What I felt most was clarity. I understood now that family is complicated. People make mistakes, sometimes terrible mistakes. And forgiveness is possible, but it does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending everything is fine when it is not. I learned that loving someone and protecting yourself can happen at the same time. They are not opposites. They are both necessary. My mom got stronger every week. By January, she was back to her normal self, calling me to tell me about her book club and the new recipes she was trying. My dad and I slowly rebuilt something. It did not look like it did before, and maybe that was okay. Our conversations were more honest now. He admitted he had always felt insecure that I left the family business. He had taken it personally, like I was rejecting him. That insecurity made him quick to believe the worst when Dylan planted that seed. We talked through it. I explained that choosing a different career was not about rejecting him. It was about finding myself. He said he understood, and I believed him. Dylan sold the auto shop in February. It turned out he was right that it was failing, but not because of anything I said. He had been mismanaging money for years, making poor business decisions, too proud to ask for real help until it was too late. He got a job working for someone else's shop, making an hourly wage, and started seeing a therapist. He sent me a message in March. "Just wanted you to know I am working on myself. I hope someday you can forgive me." I replied for the first time. "I am glad you are getting help. We will see about the rest." It was not a full reconciliation, but it was progress. Marissa and I got coffee in April. She looked different, more confident somehow. She told me that after everything happened, she had started standing up for herself more. She told her husband he needed to contribute more to their partnership. She set boundaries with Dylan instead of just going along with his schemes. She got a part-time job she loved. "Watching you set boundaries showed me I could do it too," she said. "I am sorry it took something so awful for me to learn that lesson." I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "We are learning together." What I learned from that horrible Thanksgiving changed my life in ways I am still discovering. I learned that being a good person does not mean accepting bad treatment. I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to step back from people who hurt you, even if they are family. I learned that forgiveness doesn't have to be rushed. It can take months or years, and that is okay. Real healing happens slowly. I learned that standing up for yourself can actually make relationships stronger in the end, because honesty builds better foundations than fake peace. I also learned that not everyone will understand your boundaries. Some people will call you selfish for protecting yourself. They will say family should forgive anything, that you should just let it go, that holding people accountable is the same as holding grudges. But those people are wrong. Boundaries are not mean. They are necessary. They teach people how to treat you, and the people who truly love you will respect them even if it takes time for them to understand why they exist. The ones who don't respect your boundaries are showing you exactly who they are. Believe them. Now, a year later, my relationship with my family is different. We see each other less, but the time we spend together is better, more real. My mom and I talk on the phone 3 times a week. My dad and I watch football games together sometimes, and he has stopped asking me to move back home. Dylan and I are not close, but we are civil. We can be in the same room without tension, and maybe that is enough. Marissa became one of my closest friends. She calls me when she needs advice. I call her when I need to laugh. We are building something new, something built on truth instead of obligation. I still make that pecan pie every Thanksgiving. But now I make it for myself or for friends. I have chosen people who value me and show it with actions, not just words. And every time I take that pie out of the oven and smell my grandmother's recipe filling my kitchen, I think about that day I stood on my parents' porch, holding a pie nobody wanted. I remember how much that hurt. But I also remember that I survived it. I set boundaries. I demanded respect. I chose myself when nobody else would. And that strength is still with me now, baked into everything I do. Family is supposed to be the people who love you no matter what. But sometimes family forgets what love actually means. Love is not just blood or tradition or showing up once a year for a meal. Love is respect. Love is honesty. Love is standing up for someone when they are not in the room. Love is believing in them enough to ask questions before accepting lies. Real love doesn't demand that you shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Real love gives you space to grow and celebrates when you do. That is the kind of family I am building now, whether it includes the people I share DNA with or not. So here is what I want you to take away from my story. If someone treats you badly, you do not owe them immediate forgiveness, just because they are family. You do not have to show up when they call if they have not shown up for you. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to require apologies and changed behavior before you let people back into your life. And you are allowed to walk away entirely if that is what you need. None of that makes you a bad person. It makes you someone who knows their worth. Hold on to that. Protect it. Don't let anyone convince you that boundaries are the same as bitterness. They are not. Boundaries are love for yourself. Have you ever had to set boundaries with family? Have you ever been blamed for something you didn't do? Drop a comment below and tell me your story. I read every single one, and I want you to know you are not alone. If this story meant something to you, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel because I share real stories about real struggles, and maybe hearing them will help you feel less alone in yours. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that it is okay to choose themselves. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And remember, choosing yourself is not selfish. It is survival. Take care of yourselves. You deserve it.